Welcome to the live broadcast. Today we're going to talk about the 4 habits of highly successful seducers. So, my promise to you today is once you get to the end of this presentation, you're going to know the exact 4 habits to incorporate into your life to get this woman thing handled once and for all and to have confidence with women. Now, the way I came across these 4 habits was when I was struggling with women and I wanted to get this woman thing handled once and for all. And this started when I was 22 and I was dating my dream girl. At 22 years old, after a lot of hard work, and a lot of going after what I wanted and developing myself, I finally landed my dream girl. I started going out with my dream girl. I thought, this might be the woman I spend the rest of my life with. I felt like I reached the mountaintop and, I'm set. Well, unfortunately, about 2.5 to 3 years into the relationship ended and she actually cheated on me and I was devastated. And there I was at 25 years old, heartbroken, alone. We were in Australia at the time, and so I just moved back to Canada. So I was alone. I felt betrayed. I was heartbroken. I was so depressed, and I was angry too, because why did this happen? And so I felt like, I don't want to be in this situation again where I feel helpless, where I lose a woman that I'm truly attracted to, and I'm not able to replace her, right? Because obviously after we broke up, I was pissed off and I said, okay, let me replace her. You cheat on me. I'm not good enough for you. All right, well, let me replace you. Well, what I found was that I had been out of the game for a while and the game had changed and I had changed and I was in a new country and I didn't really have that many friends, and I still didn't have my confidence to the place where it needed to be. And so very soon I found out that, hey, I'm still too shy. I'm still too insecure to go out and attract a woman that is as attractive or more attractive than my ex-girlfriend. And so that's when I went on a mission and said, you know what? I really have to figure this out. I really have to figure this out. I want to be the kind of man that can attract and date any woman I want, any quality woman I want. And at that time, my friends, instead of encouraging me, they said, you know what, Jad, just settle for good enough. Just, you don't have to you don't have to date a woman that, you don't have to go for the top of the top, man. Just settle with a woman, be satisfied. You're a shy guy, you're never gonna change, and that's just the way you are. And I've never believed that. I've never believed that we have any limits. I never believed that that we should settle in life, right? The moment we settle is the moment we die. And so I was sitting there. I was depressed. It had been about, let's say, 6 months to a year. I hadn't really done anything. And, I was just depressed, man. Just straight up. I was depressed. I felt hopeless. I didn't know what to do. I had gone out there and tried to attract women, and they weren't responding to me the way I expected. And so there I was, heartbroken, depressed, and discouraged, and just just basically hit rock bottom. I mean, I stopped caring about everything. I mean, nothing really mattered anymore because, I just felt like I wasn't effective in the world. Like I couldn't go out there and make things happen the way I wanted to. And so one day I was just sitting in my room. On top of all of this, I was broke and I was living in a basement of some woman's house. And that basement, I didn't even have the entire basement. That basement was divided into 3 small rooms. And I was living in the smallest room that didn't even have a window. It basically had enough room for a single bed and a desk. So I was in a stuffy, windowless, dark room, completely depressed, completely just, feeling like hopeless and hit a wall. And at that moment, I just realized, I said, you know what? I have 2 options right now. I can either give up and die, or I can get this thing handled, or I can turn around and attack this thing with everything I've got. And I just sat there and I thought, okay, what are the options here? What happens if I don't get this handled? What happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What is going to happen to my life if I allow this to defeat me? Am I going to be able to live with myself knowing that I am not able to make things happen with women and to bring the women I want into my life at will? And I realized that, man, I'd rather die than live that kind of life where I am ineffective, where I can't get what I want. And so right there, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm not going to be defeated. I'm not going to let this thing defeat me. I'm not going to allow, I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard, and I'm going to get this handled if it kills me. And at that moment, I took the mindset, I'm going to do whatever it takes and pay whatever price I need to pay in order to get this thing handled. And so from that point, I made a decision, and I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I stopped being passive, and I started going out there. I started reading every book I could get my hands on, watching every video I could get my hands on, going out there, trying and failing over and over, accumulating rejection after rejection. And then finally, I broke through. And I started dating women that I was truly attracted to. And I started being able to do it on a consistent basis. I started being able to have casual sex with women who I thought were absolutely hot consistently. And I was able to start having relationships with women that I truly wanted. So that's how I came to create the 4 habits of highly successful seducers. Throughout those years, I discovered that there are actually only 4 habits that every man who's good with women has, and once you practice those habits, you get good with women. And so through a lot of trial and error, I did a lot of things wrong, believe me. I did a lot of things wrong, but finally, after a lot of trial and error, I finally came up with the framework that allows any man to go from being struggling with women and not getting the results he wants with women to being able to consistently attract and date women that you're truly attracted to. And that is the framework that I'm going to share with you today. So there are a lot of myths out there, and we're going to talk about those myths today, all right? And just remember, before we go on to the framework, I want to say, in your life, there are probably a lot of naysayers, people who are discouraging you, people who are telling you to just accept yourself and accept life the way it is. I say screw that, all right? I want you to demand a higher level from yourself. I want you to demand greatness from yourself, all right? You deserve to date the women that you truly want. You deserve to live a life where you are effective in life. And so right now I'm going to share what the 4 habits are, and then we're going to go into each one of those habits step by step. Okay? So, the 4 habits of highly successful seducers are: number 1, they use the right strategy. Okay? They're very strategic and they go about things in a very specific, strategic way. What I've seen from my years of coaching guys is that the reason why a lot of guys don't get results and stay stuck for years is because they are using the wrong strategies. Okay? So habit number 1, use the right strategy. Habit number 2 is have the right mindset. Okay? Every man who is successful in life, every man who has succeeded with women has a very specific mindset, a very specific attitude of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this handled. And that's what allows them to rise above the crowd. So we're going to talk about the specific mindset. So number 1 is having the right strategy. Habit number 2 is having the right mindset. Habit number 3 is displaying status. Every single man who is consistently able to attract high quality women into his life is a man who is able to convey high status. And so we're going to talk about status in a second. And then the 4th habit of highly successful seducers, the one thing they all have in common is they all use the mastermind principle, meaning they all go at it with others. None of them go at it alone. A very common mistake that I see, a common pattern that I see among all guys who struggle with women is that they all are going at it alone. They're behind their computers, watching YouTube, reading ebooks. They never collaborate with other men. They never mastermind with other men. They never join any kind of support communities, and so they stay stuck. And so the 4 habits, and we're going to go into each one of them deeply, are have the right strategy, display high status, have the right mindset, and use the mastermind principle. When you incorporate these 4 habits into your life, you will get unstuck and start having success with women. And so let's start with the mindset. Okay, so there is a saying, it says mindset trumps mechanics. Mindset trumps mechanics. What does this mean? Mindset is the way of thinking, the way of looking at the world, okay? Mechanics is doing things. So a lot of people are very impressed by mechanics, such as a pickup artist telling you what pickup line to use, all right? Or, what to say and what routine to use. Those are mechanics. Basically, do this, say this, A, B, C, all right? It's the mechanics of how to go through something, all right? Mindset is how do you look at something in a way that allows you to have an elevation in performance? Okay, let me say that again. Mindset is how do you look at something in a way that allows you to have an elevation in your performance. So for the past 10 plus years, I have been obsessed with high performance. Okay, to me, the only thing that matters is high performance, not accumulation of information. I don't care how much information you have accumulated. All I care is how much of that knowledge have you been able to go out and implement in the real world. That's the only thing that moves the needle. Can you go out there and do it? I don't care what you know, I care what you can do. And so mindsets are what allow us to raise our levels of performance. Said in another way, mindsets are what allow us to go out into the world and actually be effective and translate all the knowledge we know into actual action, effective action. Because a man needs to be effective out into the world. The reason why, if you just heard my story, the reason why I was depressed is because I found myself ineffective. I was unable to affect the world in a way that I wanted. And so I felt helpless. I felt powerless. I felt useless. And so mindsets are what allow us to start being effective. And so the number one mindset that every single man who's good with women has is the following. What I observed over my 10 years plus of observing men who are successful with women is they all have this mindset. They have all made a definite decision to win at all cost. They have made a definite decision to get this woman thing handled, no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it is, and no matter how much money and time they have to invest into it. Okay? So they have a no-quit attitude. Quitting is not an option. I'm going to do whatever it takes for however long it takes until I get this woman thing handled. And that was the turning point for me. When I hit rock bottom, when I was inside that tiny basement suite, stuffy, no windows, depressed, hurt, angry, betrayed, the thing that turned it around for me is I realized I only had two options: give up and live a life of just sadness and regret, or stand up and fight, right? And I chose to stand up and fight. And in that moment, the reason why I won at that moment is because beforehand I decided I will pay any price. I will travel anywhere I need to travel to meet any mentor I need to meet. I will go out as much as I need to go out. I will get rejected as much as I need to get rejected. I will do whatever it takes to get this handled, because the alternative is just a life not worth living. All right, bottom line, a life not worth living. And so if you want to get this woman thing handled, you need to have that attitude that quitting is not an option, failure is not an option. You will stick with this for as long as necessary until you get to the other side. If you do not have that attitude, if you do not have that mindset, turn off this video right now. You are a hopeless case and you are never going to break through to the other side. I promise you that. No man conquers his challenges if he does not have this no-quit mindset. All right? So that's the starting point. The starting point is you make a definite decision to win, to get this handled at all cost. All right? At all cost. The failures of the world are the people who are not willing to pay the price in exchange for what they want. Okay? Again, I've been observing a lot of guys. Guys have been following me since 2011. I've observed these people. And there are some people who still haven't broken through because they refuse to pay the price in exchange for what they want. So the price includes hiring mentors, traveling to go meet mentors, joining workshops, joining communities, upgrading your style, going out, getting rejected, whatever you need to do, investing in personal development, whatever you need to do, investing time, focus, all these things are necessary in order to break through to the other side. These are all the things that I did in order to break through to the other side, okay? I have spent over $35,000 in coaching alone, going going and seeking mentors, hiring mentors in different fields to deal with emotional issues, spiritual issues, women issues, business, whatever it is. I always invest. When I see someone who knows something that I don't know, I go there, I give them money, and for exchange for in exchange for that money, they give me their wisdom that took them years. And so you need to be efficient. This now we're kind of transitioning to habit number 2, which is being strategic, right? So you need to be strategic. Am I going to reinvent the wheel? Am I going to reinvent the wheel? Am I going to spend 10 years trying to figure out how women work? Or am I going to hire someone who's already good with women and he's going to shortcut my success and I can download from his brain in a matter of months what would take me 5 years or 3 years to figure out? And so I've done that in different areas of my life consistently, and I continue to do that. I always have coaches because I study successful people and I model successful people and I observe patterns of successful people, and not a single successful person, like all these successful people you see, whether they're on YouTube, they're authors, they're public figures who you look up to, every single one of them gets coaching, gets training, gets mentored. To be a successful person, you need to have a coach. You need to have a mentor. It's very obvious when you look at athletes, right? The first thing an athlete does when they want to go pro, what do? They hire a coach right away. It's intuitive. So that same logic needs to carry over to you. If you're stuck in life with women, then you need to hire a mentor, hire a coach. All right? So this brings us to, we'll take strategy in a session, even though some of these habits kind of mix together, right? Let's talk about masterminding, okay? So when I observed all of these great seducers as I was coming up and becoming someone who can consistently attract women myself, I looked at them carefully and I said, what's not obvious to everyone else, but what is common among all these guys? What's common among all these guys who are the top of the top? And what I realized are a few things. One thing I realized was that not even one of them was going at it alone. Every single one of those guys had his crew, his friends, his circle, his community. Not one single one of them was completely alone. And the guys who appeared to be alone, when I dug deeper, what I discovered is they had a mastermind with their father or a personal friend in their life in the background. But the one commonality among all these seducers was they had at least one mentor, one person in the background supporting them. Some of these mentors were free. They were their friends, their big brothers, their fathers, whatever. Others had mentors that they were paying for, but they weren't publicly sharing that with the rest of the world. It's funny, actually, that I discovered that, back in the day, there were these really famous pickup artists. And what I discovered a few years later was that these pickup artists were actually getting mentored by much less known seducers who then also became dating coaches later. And so a lot of times, like when you think someone's doing things on their own, they're never doing anything on their own. If you see a successful athlete, would you for a single split second believe that he was doing it alone? No. He has mentors, he has coaches behind him. And so the next habit that is across the board common for all successful seducers, and the one habit that's going to allow you to get unstuck, is you want to mastermind with a mentor. You want to find someone in your life that has already gotten this thing figured out, and you want to go to him and say, hey man, help me out with this, mentor me with this. So you have two options. You can go the free route and find someone in your life, or you can go the paid route and hire a professional such as myself or any other dating coach that you resonate with. All right? So, but I'll tell you this. My research has shown over and over and over, and it's always the case, the guys who refuse to mastermind with a mentor, the guys who refuse to go at this in a group way, like this is a team game, man. If you want to get good with women, it's a team sport, all right? The guys who refuse to listen to that and who just go at it alone, they stay stuck. They never reach excellence. They never reach the promised land. Never, okay? So we are living in a world that is governed by laws, and those laws, the laws of success, are immutable, unchangeable, inescapable. If you walk off a cliff, gravity pulls you down every time, not sometimes. So similarly, the guys who go at this alone and never mastermind with mentors, with peers, with other men, those guys, or let's say with other people, because maybe you can mastermind with a woman, but usually it's with a man, those guys, they stay stuck. So if you skip the habit of masterminding and masterminding with a mentor, then it's not going to happen for you. Or if we're like super overly optimistic, I will say maybe you'll reach there alone, but it'll probably take you 7 years extra. Okay, but if I'm betting money, I will bet against you. If you're going at it alone, I will bet money against you. All right? I will bet money against you and I will win. All right? So we're talking, what are habits? We're talking about the 4 habits of highly successful seducers. Habits, and in the context of this conversation, we're talking about what are the 4 laws of nature that all successful seducers follow, which allow them to succeed. Okay? So we're talking about laws of nature. Okay, so we're talking about a law is like a principle. It's like gravity is a law of nature on this planet. So every time you jump off a cliff, you get pulled down. Not sometimes, every time. All right, so these 4 habits apply every time. So quick review if you just joined us. Hello, Mehmet from Turkey. What's up, brother? So if you just joined us, principle number 1 that all successful seducers have in common is they reached the point where they said, I'm going to do whatever it takes and pay whatever price and do whatever it takes at all cost to get this woman thing handled. So they make a definite decision. Number 2 is every successful seducer went at this with in a collaborative way with other men, with other mentors, all right? They used a mastermind, and so you need to use a mastermind if you want to get this handled. If you go at it alone, continue to watch YouTube videos, just watch, just read ebooks and all that stuff and do it alone, there's no hope for you. Just give up now. It's not going to work, okay? You're not going to violate the laws of success. No man succeeds alone, period. I've been in this for more than 10 years, and I've never seen a guy reach excellence alone. You'll reach maybe a bit of average, but you'll never get to the point where you're consistently dating the kind of women that you're truly attracted to. No, that's not going to happen. Okay, so the third principle we're going to talk about is strategy. And this is great because, and I mean, it incorporates, we're gonna touch upon the other habits, and we're going to bust some myths. So a big reason why a lot of guys never break through to with this game is they're using the wrong strategy. Okay? They're using the wrong strategy. In order to win in this game, you have to have the right strategy, you have to have the complete strategy. And so there are a lot of misconceptions of what you need to do in order to get this part of your life handled. And I went through some mistakes, excuse me, and the guys are going through a lot of these mistakes as well. So let's bust some myths, shall we? So we already busted the myth of I think I can do this alone because all the information is out there on the internet. So all I need to do is study and then go and apply it and it'll work. Wrong, you can't. Okay? You need to do it in a collaborative team environment with at least one other person, ideally a mentor, because a mentor is going to fast track your success. Whereas if you're just masterminding with people who are at the same level as you, you're both kind of stuck, so you're both going to kind of stay stuck. You need to mastermind up. You need to join forces with someone who's already figured this out. Okay, so let's take that aside. The next thing, another misconception is guys think that they can get this handled by simply doing street approaches, right? Jad, I'm just going to do day game and approach dozens of women every week or hundreds of women, and then eventually I'm going to get this thing handled. Well, that doesn't work, and that's a bad strategy, all right? So I've tried this strategy myself, and continually, even a few days ago, I was on the phone with a guy, and he tried that strategy, didn't work for him, and here's why, okay? A man who is able to consistently bring women into his life is a man who has some kind of lifestyle set up. All right? He has a lifestyle set up where he has regular activities in his life which bring women into his life and allow him to interact with women on a consistent basis. All right? There is no man out there who has abundance with women in his life whose primary strategy is to just go out into the streets and just randomly, endlessly approach women. All right? So if that's what you're thinking, like, oh, if I could just go and do that, everything would be solved. No, it won't be solved because you're just a random dude walking up to women. And let's say you get some of these women on dates and they ask you, okay, so tell me about yourself. Tell me what do you do in your spare time? What are you going to say? Well, I spend all my spare time randomly chasing women around the city. You know, you're not going to tell her that, but at the same time, you're not doing anything else. And so there's no life to bring her into. And so she's going to be like, this guy's kind of weird. And, you know, it's going to go downhill, right? Another aspect of this is that you don't have any status. You don't have any status if you're just randomly approaching women on the street. You're just, no matter how many times you do it, even if you've done it for years, every day you're starting at zero. You're not building anything, right? You're not building anything. Every day you're starting at zero. It's not fun. Most people don't like it. And it's kind of weird, and you feel kind of weird. And with a lot of guys, it ends up hurting their confidence because there's a lot of rejection involved too, because it's not a friendly environment. It's not a friendly environment to just randomly go up to women. Now, a side note, is it good to get over your fear of approaching women in the daytime? Of course. Is it good to have the skill to, let's say you see your dream girl pass you by when you're waiting for the train. Is it good to have the ability to walk up to her and try to get her number? Of course it is. But as a long-term strategy, using day game as a primary strategy to just endlessly approach women in the daytime, that's not what, from my study and observation of all these successful seducers over the years, not one of them used that as his primary strategy. Okay? So it's a myth that that's going to get you what you want. A lot of guys waste money on hiring a dating coach for 1 or 2 days where the training is exclusively about approaching women. Because yeah, sure, you're gonna go meet that guy. He's gonna go take you to some city. He's gonna say, okay, approach this woman, approach this woman, approach this woman. Okay, you're gonna get over your fear a bit, and then you're gonna go back home, and then you're gonna get back into your real life, and then soon you're gonna find out that, oh, I'm still really scared. I don't really enjoy doing this, and I don't really, I haven't really gotten over this completely, right? So you need to think deeper. You need to take a more holistic approach, all right? You need to get your lifestyle together, not just think of it A to B. If I approach more women, I'm going to get more women in my life. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The strategy that all successful seducers use is they create a lifestyle, an attractive lifestyle that brings women, that draws women into their lives consistently. And so what the man does is he builds something that builds on top of itself day after day, week after week, year after year. And the better, cooler of a lifestyle he builds, the more women he starts to attract. And that's how you create an abundance of women in your life over the long term. So, the difference between the guys who struggle with women versus the guys who do very well with women is the guys who struggle with women don't build a lifestyle, and they use the wrong strategies, such as just going out in the street and randomly approaching women, or just going out to nightclubs and just trying to get women that way, but they never build an attractive lifestyle. Whereas every man who is able to consistently attract quality women into his life over the long term, what he does is he builds an attractive lifestyle. Okay, he creates a social circle. He gets involved with activities in his city. He gets involved in his hobbies. He's not just a random guy in a big city. He's part of something. When he meets a woman, he has a lot of interest. He has an interesting life to bring her into. All right. So you want to start building a lifestyle, and we help you with that in our programs. That's beyond the scope of this video, but you need to build an attractive lifestyle that women are going to come into and be drawn into. Okay? And then the fourth habit that all highly successful seducers have in common is they all convey high status. Okay? They all convey high status. So, what does this mean? So, a big myth out there that has arisen is that women don't care too much about looks, right? So the myth that a lot of guys believe is that, hey, if I have enough game, if I know enough game, I watched all these videos, read all these books, if I know the psychology and all that, then my looks don't matter. I can be fat, I can be out of shape, and women don't care about looks too much. Wrong. Okay? Wrong. Big mistake. Big mistake. If you study all successful seducers, you're going to see that the overwhelming majority of them are in shape. Now, I'm not saying that they're buff and that they have six-pack abs and huge muscles. I'm saying that they're fit. Okay? They're fit. They're not hugely overweight. They're not just hugely, let's say, out of shape. All right? They take care of themselves. Now, of course, there are people out there right now saying, okay, Jad, but I know, what about this guy? He's overweight and bald and he gets women. And what about this guy? He's really big, he's a heavy set and he gets women. Yes, there are absolutely exceptions. And also, if you're one of those guys who's like huge, like you're just heavy set and there's no way you can be slim, you're just a heavy set guy, you're like a huge guy, well, it's okay, all right? Some people, they're just born like huge, right? If you're a huge guy and you're more like towards the heavy set, I'm not saying that all women aren't going to be attracted to you. No, women are absolutely, there's a subset of women who are absolutely attracted to your type. And just like there are some women who are attracted to more skinny guys and some women who are attracted to more like buff guys and etc. What we're saying here is don't be a slob. All right, that's what we're saying. What we're saying here is when a woman looks at you, she needs to see, okay, you're making an effort. Okay, so when we're saying out of shape, what I'm saying is that don't look like you're out of shape because you're lazy. You need to look like you're doing the best with what you've got. Very important. And every seducer, even the big heavy set guys, they're still doing the best with what they've got. Okay? And an extension of your body is your style. All right? You need to dress to impress. You need to dress in a way where you're presenting yourself in a respectable, high status fashion. All right? Women spend a lot of effort, time, and money on their fashion and the way they present themselves. And they expect you to invest at least half that time and half that money in your style, in your body, in your fashion. All right? So status, the way you present yourself, is incredibly important. And the guys who struggle with women are the guys who neglect to realize how important status is to women. If you appear low status, meaning you're sloppy in the way you dress, you're wearing old clothes, worn out clothes, you're not taking care of yourself physically, you are not putting intentional effort in the way you present yourself. You're a 35 or 45-year-old guy still dressing up like you were like a high school kid. All those things are deal breakers for women. All right? So you need to put in the time, the effort, and the money to present yourself in the best possible way, to present yourself in a high status way. Okay? So unless you're presenting yourself that way, you're not going to get the response you want from women. I don't care how much game you have. And I'll give you a side note. We'll give you a side note and say, yes, there are some fat, short, smelly, obnoxious men out there who are able to attract women because they have just so much game. It's ridiculous. But that is probably the 1% of the 1% of the population. I wouldn't bet on being that guy. If you've struggled with women, you're never going to be that kind of guy. All right? So what you have to do, what us regular folk have to do, is dress nicely and get our body to a good enough state. Okay, so the four habits of highly successful seducers: they have the right mindset. They have the mindset that quitting is not an option and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this handled. They use the right strategies. They don't go at things alone. And they make sure that they present themselves in a high status manner. All right? Now, if you've been stuck for 1 year or more with this women thing, and despite watching these videos, studying ebooks, all this stuff, then that's a sign that you have blind spots. Okay, you have blind spots. There are mistakes that you are making that you are not aware of. Okay, there are mistakes that you are making that you are not aware of, and that's why you are stuck. And so a blind spot is basically something you don't know that you don't know. So the example I give is, let's say you and I are standing outside of a shopping mall, and then I say, hey, Mike, go into that shopping mall and get me that thing from that place. And then you ask me, Jad, what thing? I say, I can't tell you. I'm just going to say, go to the mall, get me the thing from inside the mall. Then you go in there, you grab whatever you can, you come out, you say, Jad, is it this? No. Is it this? I say no. Is it this? No. You go back in, you come back out. You go back in, you come back out. Is it this, Jad? No. Is it this? No. Finally, after 2 years of going in the mall and coming out, showing me everything you possibly can, and me saying, no, is that it? No. Finally, I say, you ask me, okay, what is the thing? What is the thing you wanted? And I say, I wanted the rusted screw from the top of the sign up on the roof there, the third rusted screw on the top of that sign. Okay, you may have never would have been able to ever figure that out. A blind spot is the same thing. The reason why guys, let's say, follow my videos for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and are still stuck is because they have a blind spot and they're not able to find it on their own. So there are two sets of men who follow me, all right? Two sets of men. The sets of men who only watch my videos and never get coaching, and some of them figure it out on their own, and a lot of them don't. And the other set who watch my videos, realize after about a year or two that they're still stuck, they get coaching, and then I point out their blind spots, and within a short matter of 3 to 6 months, they got unstuck. All right? So if you want to speed up your success, and if you want to stop wasting your life hoping and wondering, am I going to get this handled? Is this the year I'm going to get this handled? Then what you want to do is you want to hire a coach, preferably me, to point out your blind spots, because a guy can be stuck literally for 3 years. It happens all the time. Every month I'm getting new clients. Hey, how long have you been stuck? I've been stuck for 5 years. I've been stuck for 3 years. That's the average, right? And then after only 3 months of coaching, we point out all their blind spots. Poof, they're unstuck. Okay? So if you're stuck, the best solution for you right now is to hire a coach and get your blind spots revealed so you can stop wasting your life and get on with your life. All right? I just got a message from a guy who just graduated my Man Transformation Experience program, and he wrote, you know what? I'm actually going to read it to you because he just texted me. He texted me. Just bear with me while the app opens. Guys are getting breakthroughs, man. Every single month, guys are getting breakthroughs. They're getting transformations. It's when you follow the principles, you get results. All right, listen to this. This was sent at 1:02 p.m. yesterday, actually before yesterday. Thanks, Jad. Oh, no, that was a follow-up message. Okay, success report. I went on a very successful date yesterday with easily one of the most good-looking women I've gone out with. It was a good challenge for me since she made me chase her quite a bit, and I had to adapt to the situation and stay playful through her tests and so on. But it was fun and an enjoyable chase. We ended up having sex at her apartment, and there was quite a bit of kissing involved. I owe this to you, my friend. All right? So that gentleman, he was stuck for around 3 years or more. All right? And then he came, he got coaching. That's one of the principles is masterminding up, right? Masterminding with a mentor. So he followed those principles. He got the right mindsets. He masterminded. We revealed his blind spots. We gave him the correct strategies because, of course, like many others, he was using the wrong strategies, which made him feel ineffective, which hurt his confidence. So he's using the right strategies, and we really completely gave him an overhaul, fashion-wise and physical-wise, to the point where now he's conveying high status and he is dating women that are very attractive, right? So right now, I give you an invitation to join a free breakthrough session with me. So why am I offering these free breakthrough sessions, and who qualifies for these? So the reason why I'm offering these free sessions is for 2 reasons. Number one, I've been where you're at, and I've been at the bottom and hopeless, but I've come through to the other side. And so I wish there had been someone there for me when I was struggling. And so I want to be there for you. All right, so I want to give back. And the second reason why I'm offering these free sessions is I know that some of you will talk to me, and after we go through, we reveal your blind spots, we give you some strategies and so on, you're going to be interested in getting coaching from me. And that's how I get clients. So the reason why I'm offering these free sessions is it helps me get clients while also helping people. So if you would like to have a free session with me, sorry, I'm getting notifications on the screen and it's distracting me. Let's turn these off. Okay, so who qualifies? You must be 25 years of age or older. You must be working full-time, and you must be at the point where you're ready to do whatever it takes to get this thing handled. All right? I don't want to talk to anyone who's not committed. That's a waste of my time. All right? But if you're at the point where, you know what, Jad, this stuff is making sense. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this handled. I'm ready to get this handled. And you got your life together. If you don't have your life together, if you're not holding a full-time job, it's not the time for you yet. All right? And you also have to be able to go out at least twice a week. All right? Because I'm going to give you some tips and some strategies. So you have to have some time to socialize. All right? So if you fall under that criteria, go to jadtjones.com/apply and apply for a free breakthrough session with me. It will be my pleasure to support you in this journey. And just as a side note, my specialty, my focus is teaching men how to become a sexual force of nature. All right? A sexual force of nature. One of the reasons why you're not attracting women into your life is because you're lacking that sexual presence and that sexual communication. And inside of my coaching, I teach you my proprietary framework called Primal Sex Fluence, which allows you to influence women sexually, said in a more casual way, allows you to attract the sexual attention from women. A lot of reasons why you're getting ignored from women right now is because they're not seeing you as a sex object. They're seeing you as this harmless, nice guy. And so one thing that I really specialize in through my coaching is teaching you how to have that raw, masculine sex appeal that women can't ignore. And that's why a lot of my coaching clients are getting results. That's why they're writing me back saying, like Eric, who just wrote me back, that's why he's getting success with women, because we taught him primal sex fluence and how to be that sexual force of nature, because that's what women are looking for. So that's it for today's live webcast, webinar, whatever we call it. Thanks for everyone who joined live. Thank you for your comments. And if you didn't join live, thanks for watching. If you're interested, go to jadtjones.com/apply. Let's get you unstuck and happily connecting with women, right? Because life, a man's life is complete, is the happiest, is the most fulfilling when he has a wonderful woman to share it with, or wonderful women to share it with, right? So stop being stuck. Stop, do what you need to do. I believe in you. If you just follow these 4 principles, these 4 habits, you can be a successful seducer just like the many other men who preceded you. All right? I believe in you. You got this. Go do what you have to do, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.